Noah's flood and Noah's Ark. We need to defend that too. And there's a lot of really good stuff. Bodie Hodge has a really good book called Flood of Evidence, which has a lot of the latest stuff. He's uncovered something like more than 300 flood legends from almost every continent and every culture under the sun. It has a flood legend of some kind. Sometimes they even get the name of Noah pretty close and things like that. But we need to defend that as real history. We are not uniformitarians. We do not believe in uniformitarianism. We don't believe that the way that the processes are right now is the key to understanding the past. We are catastrophists because the Bible teaches us that God destroyed this planet, everything on it that breathes, with water. And it radically changed this planet. It radically changed the world. And we need to defend that. And I would encourage you, if you've not been to the Ark Encounter in Kentucky, you need to go to the Ark Encounter and see how big the Ark really was and walk through it and see plenty of room on there for all the various animal kinds, and look at some of the resources, read the books, listen to the presentations, read the displays. It was hard for us to do it. I had all my kids with me when we went, and it was a wonderful exhibit. I wish I could have stayed and read everything there because there's so much to learn, and it's something we've got to defend. We are catastrophists. We don't believe in uniformitarianism. We are catastrophists. In fact, the scriptures tell us that the days will come when people will be uniformitarians, and we need to remind them of what they willfully forgot, and that is that God long ago destroyed the world with water, and that the same earth is now being preserved by the Noahic covenant. God promised never to do that again, not to destroy the world with water again. Listen to 2 Peter chapter 3, verse 3. Knowing this, first, that scoffers will come in the last days, walking according to their own lusts. Okay, so think about that. What's motivating these people? Lust, sin, their love of sin. And saying, where is the promise of his coming? For since the fathers fell asleep, all things continue as they were from the beginning of creation. They'll be uniformitarians. They won't believe that there even was a flood. How do we know that? Look at verse 5. For this they willfully forget that by the word of God the heavens were of old, and the earth standing out of water and in the water, by which the world that then existed perished, being flooded with water. They will willfully forget that. But why are there billions of dead things laid down in rock layers, laid down by water all over the earth? Because there was a global flood that killed them all. And that turned a lot of them into fossils. Fossils are evidence that something happened very rapidly. When animals die out in nature, what happens to them? They're consumed in their entirety, bones and all, by microbes and scavengers. To get a fossil is actually pretty rare. It's very, very difficult. It's very unusual. Something's got to be buried very quickly to become a fossil. And people just forget, no, everything's uniform. Charles Lyell, his Principles of Geology, proposing everything is exactly the same now as it always was. There never was a global catastrophe or anything like that. And it says they willfully forget that God destroyed the world with a flood. We have to remind people that that's a fact. Verse 7, but the heavens and the earth, which are now preserved by the same word, are reserved for fire until the day of judgment and perdition of ungodly men. Okay, so Noah's flood is actually a really important evangelistic tool. You think God is not angry at sin? You think God is not angry at sin? He judged the world and destroyed and killed every man, woman, and child on this entire planet with water long ago. Yes, the world has willfully forgotten it, but it doesn't make it go away.